Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padres gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Friars pregame show for September 6, 2022. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. Padres and the Diamondbacks tonight. The second of three back at Petco Park. Padres lost last night, or yesterday. They couldn't score a run. A lot of guys left in scoring position. Well, not a lot, but for guys that got on base, they all got left in scoring position. I'll put it that way. It's disappointing seeing Matt Beatty in the lineup. It was disappointing seeing him hit in the seventh inning when you have Alfaro and Camposano and Myers on the bench. I know Bob Melvin said post-game that Myers wasn't available, but you can't give one at-bat. You can't give me one at-bat. I don't know. He's back in the lineup today. Alfaro's in the lineup today as well. And I believe that happened in the seventh inning. Everyone was available, I guess, except Myers. Doesn't make sense why Beatty was in that situation. Talk about that more on the post-game series reaction, after tomorrow. But as for today, Merrill Kelly's on the mound for the Diamondbacks and Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Padres. Seems like it's going to be a good pitching matchup. Whenever I say that, usually 5-6 runs are scored in between both starters, but on paper, it seems like it's a good pitching matchup. Merrill Kelly threw 7 shutout innings in his last start. 4 hits, didn't walk anyone. That was against Milwaukee, a team that's chasing the Padres. They're 3 games back technically from the Padres in the standings because the Padres have that head-to-head. Padres, if you look at the standings, they're 2 games up on Milwaukee, but it's really 3 games. So that's good. You'd obviously wish it would be like 4 games if they could have won yesterday. It wouldn't have been 4 games. It would have been still no, it would be 4. It would have just stayed what it was because Milwaukee won yesterday too. So both teams would have won. It would just stayed what it was at. But Milwaukee is playing Colorado, I believe. Yeah, Colorado tonight, 5:40. And the Padres obviously here 6:40 against the Diamondbacks. I'll be at the game. I usually do the pregame show from Petco, but it's not as good of a show, I don't think, when it's at Petco because I don't have notes in front of me. It's on the phone, so sometimes it goes in and out, the internet, and sometimes my screen turns black. So I figured just do it from here, and then I'll head to the game after I'm done with this. Diamondbacks looking for their 66th win of the year. Padres, their 75th. Joe Musgrove, in his last start, went 6 2/3 innings against the Giants, allowed 3 runs. But remember, he was really, really good for most of that outing. Those runs came late. There was one hit by pitch, Jock Peterson, that wasn't actually a hit by pitch, so he shouldn't have even scored in that situation, assuming Musgrove got Peterson out later in the at-bat. He looked really, really good in that start, and I gave credit to Luis Camposano, as he deserved. After that start, he was more comfortable behind the plate. Him and Musgrove really communicated well between the Manaea start that last Sunday against the Royals and the Wednesday start, and it obviously paid off. Musgrove is going to be having a different catcher today in Jorge Alfaro, but I assume that he's more comfortable with Alfaro than he is with Camposano because he's been caught by Alfaro more than, obviously, Luis Camposano. So I don't think the communication thing should be an issue tonight because they're familiar with each other. I know Alfaro, he's been on the IL. He was in El Paso. He hasn't caught Musgrove in a game in a while, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. It's probably going to be more like riding a bike. They'll just pick up right where they started. By the way, what's up, Marty? Tupac 13. I see you guys in the chat here. Rams fan says, "Is it my imagination? But haven't the Padres got better results with Kim at leadoff?" But you also got to look at the matchup. There's a righty on the mound, and the Padres, as we saw with the Matt Beatty move last night, sticking with the lefty, and that was Bob Melvin's explanation. When he was asked why was Beatty still pinch hitting in that game, Campusano has a home run off of the guy that was pitching, Ryan Nelson. His explanation was, well, he's a lefty. Uh, you know, and he was talking. I don't know if he mentioned this, but the bench was full of righties, and so they went with the lefty. If Campusano was DHing to start the game, um, obviously he would have been DHing to start the game. Like they wouldn't have had Beatty pinch hit there. Um, I have that kind of backwards. He told the media yesterday, if I was going to pinch hit Campusano in that situation for Beatty, then Campusano would have just started as the designated hitter, you know? But yeah, so the Padres like having that matchup where if it's a righty on the mound, you have a lefty hitting leadoff. And a lefty today, Profar, because he's a switch hitter, he's going to be batting leadoff. And then they have Ha-Sung Kim batting sixth as the shortstop. If I know Profar can hit both ways. So even if the lefty's on the mound, well, you could say, well, Ben, okay, the lefty's on the mound, then he can just switch to righty. But usually what they've done, it feels like in the last week or so, if a lefty's on the mound, they like Kim hitting leadoff. It's more of a matchup thing. If they're going to have a righty hit leadoff, they're going to have Kim. But if a righty's on the mound, then they're going to go with Profar. They like that better. Like they want to stack the lefties, first two in the order, before going to Manny hitting third. So I hope that Musgrove has another quality start. I think that's what should be the expectation today. And Merrill Kelly, he's pitched well against the Padres, it feels like, every time. First start of the year, 4 innings, didn't give up any runs. I don't know if he's faced him July 17th at Petco, 6 innings, 1 run. Like, it feels like he dominates the Padres whenever he pitches against them. So that's not really great news. Hopefully that can turn around today. Padres lineup has Profar leading off, Soto's in right, Manny is at third base. Josh Bell's DHing. By the way, if you missed it, Brandon Drury is on the 7-day concussion IL. Earliest he can return, I believe, would be this coming Saturday against the Dodgers. So Bell's DHing, Crony's at second base, Kim is at short. With Bell DHing, so you got Will Myers back. He's at first base, so you don't have to deal with Matt Beatty DHing or playing first base, so that's good. And then Grisham's hitting eighth. He's in center field with Alfaro catching. So I'm fine with the lineup the way it is tonight. Obviously, Bob Melvin's doing what he can with the guys that are available. He's doing better than he did yesterday with the guys that are available, you know. Some Campy fans might want Campusano catching over Alfaro. They want Alfaro DHing maybe, so Bell can play first, and you just don't have Myers in the lineup with the righty on the mound. But that's what they're doing. I'm fine with Campy not hitting, and he's still a bench option. Nola is a backup catcher, obviously, option. They have the off day on Thursday, so he could go 3 days or contribute 3 days in a row if Alfaro can't make it the whole game or whatever. I don't know if he's caught a full game in AAA yet. 7th inning, or I remember seeing an update that he caught through 7 innings in one of the rehab games. So I would expect him to catch the whole game, but if he doesn't, I'm telling you that I wouldn't be surprised. My Padre pick today, by the way, is Josh Bell. I went with Juan Soto yesterday. He went hitless. So I'm 84-47 so far this season in my pregame show Padre pick. Bullpen situation. Hader, 17 pitches yesterday. Nick Martinez, 23 pitches yesterday. Steven Wilson, back-to-back days pitching, so he probably wouldn't pitch today, I wouldn't think. But Garcia, available. Maybe Martinez is available. He didn't look great yesterday. But Garcia, Hill, Chris Matt, Morhone, Suarez, they're all available today. Kinnear's available, but I'd hope they wouldn't be pitching him, or they're only pitching him because they're blowing out the Diamondbacks. With Musgrove on the mound, you think that it's going to be a quality start. He's going to give the bullpen some rest, and those guys like Kinnear aren't going to even need to pitch today. They're not even going to have to warm up. But he hasn't thrown in a couple days. He threw 51 pitches on, when was that? Sunday? Saturday. So probably they'd want to give him another day off, but he has gone a couple days without throwing. Diamondbacks lineup, Josh Rojas leading off. He's at third. Dalton Varsho is in right. Ketel Marte's at second base. Christian Walker's at first. Jake McCarthy's in left field. Corbin Carroll, one of their top guys, prospects, he's DHing. Carson Kelly's catching. Alec Thomas is in center. And then former Padre briefly this year. That was this year, right? It's been a long year. Sergio Alcantara is at shortstop batting ninth. So look for a home run out of him tonight because that's just what former Padres do. All right, 6:40, the first pitch. Again, Milwaukee's in Colorado tonight. The Phillies are hosting the Marlins. Padres and Phillies enter today, tied for that, I believe, tied for the second wild card. And the Padres are 3 games up technically on the Brewers for the final wild card. All right, let's get to comments and stuff before I get out of here and go to the game. Oh, of course. I was watching. So my mom says USA scored. So, an own goal. Wow, that's embarrassing for Nigeria. I was watching this game before I went and did this. And of course, when I leave, US scores. They won, by the way, against Nigeria on Saturday, 4-0. San Diego Waves Alex Morgan with a penalty kick goal. Not a surprise. Risk It for the Biscuit says, I've been on Twitter, people flipping out on Soto because of his slump. Player slump, it's part of the game. He'll be fine. I agree. Yep. Not a whole lot to expand on with that because I agree with that. I'm not concerned about Juan Soto. The guy's a generational talent. He's still getting on base most of the time, most games through walks and stuff like that. He's still contributing very well defensively. I've actually been surprised how great his defense has been so far with the Padres. He's shown a lot of range, a great arm in right field. So he's helping in other ways. And if there's a guy that I'm confident is going to get out of a slump, it's Juan Soto. This isn't Matt Beatty that we're talking about, who, oh man, Matt Beatty has to start in right field every day. No, this is Juan Soto. There's so many teams that would love to have Juan Soto on their team, even when he is slumping because of how much he can help the team, Yeah, it was disappointing yesterday seeing him not come through and pop out there, slammed his bat. Like the guy wants it, and he's just maybe he's not seeing the ball great. I don't know. It was a weird start time. 3:40 had the shade. Had to deal with that. The pitcher was in the light, batter was in the shade, so that was probably hard on hitters. That's not an excuse probably for him. But yeah, he's slumping. I think he's going to get out of slump. It's not him that's the problem. It's more the offense as a whole, right? There were more people than just him that didn't come through yesterday. Crony struck out looking once. Bell struck out looking in the first inning. Manny grounded out. Soto popped out in the first inning there. Obviously, Matt Beatty in the 7th inning, runner in scoring position. Weekly flew out to right. There's a lot of guys. It's not just one guy. It's not like Padres lost 1-0 yesterday and Soto went 0 for 2 and he was the only guy with guys in scoring position, So, yeah, I think people on Twitter, they like to overreact. They live tweet during games, and they like to overreact. I think it's fine for them to say, hey, Juan Soto has to play better, but for them to be actually worried about Juan Soto doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I appreciate that, by the way, here. I got to say, you're on point with the highlight reels on Twitter. Much appreciated. You mean the clips that I put out? Yeah, when I'm not at games, I put out clips to the Padres games, plays that are happening, plays that, the regular accounts, the Padres Twitter aren't going to tweet out. So if you're not watching a game, I recommend you checking that out at Talking Friars on Twitter and hope that I'm not at the game. Road games, pretty much all road games, you'll know that I'll be doing that. So I do it for the fans, I don't get paid for that. Trust me. Rams fan asks, with the day off this week, will Bomel skip Anaya's start? He's due Friday in LA or against LA. It's not in LA. It's here at Petco. Yeah, he is going to skip the start. They announced that yesterday. So Manaea just going to have his start skipped. They had the day off Thursday. So I forget who would start that game. Musgrove's today, Clev's tomorrow. I think Darvish would it be Darvish Saturday? Darvish might pitch actually Friday because he pitched. Oh, no. Darvish pitches tomorrow, I think. My bad. So would it be Clevenger? It might be Clevenger on Friday then. Yeah, tomorrow's Darvish. And MLB.com doesn't have a Padres starter named. I believe that it would be Clevenger on Friday. And then that means that, Snell would be Saturday? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. So, yeah, Snell would be, I think, Saturday. Clev would be Friday. And then that means Musgrove would be Sunday. So, yeah, that's the way the Padres, I believe, would line up against the Dodgers this weekend. So, again, Padres and the Diamondbacks tonight. I think the lineup's better, obviously, than it was yesterday. That's not a very high standard. And I think the Padres have a really good chance. I think they should win this game. I know Merrill Kelly is going to be tough, but Joe Musgrove is a very good pitcher on the other side of things for us, So I like this. I like this pitching matchup. I like their chances tonight. It's a series that they should win. I can't say that they need to win it because they don't need to win a series until they're going to be mathematically eliminated, right? But it's kind of between for me. They need to and they should win it. They definitely should win the series because it's a team that falls under the category of the Padres should beat this team. The Padres are better than this team. So they definitely should win this series. And Milwaukee's not playing an easy opponent right now. So, yeah, it would definitely be good to win this series because if they don't, man, if they get swept, then they might not have a wild card spot. Or they'd be tied probably for the final wild card, technically, with Milwaukee at the end of the this series. So definitely win these next two games, and I think we'll be happier heading into the off before the Dodgers series. All right, I'll be at the game later tonight. Talk to you guys later. Go Padres, keep the faith, and enjoy the game tonight.